Cool. All right. We've had a really kind of great past couple of years since the last time we did the conference where we did the product roadmap conversation. So I wanted just to start off. If you don't know me, just introduce myself. Again, my name's Eric Vargas. I'm the president of Follow Up. I'm married. I have two sons. I have a 3-year-old that I'm launching into the air right there. And then I have a 6-week old right there. We just took these photos. It's our Christmas card photo. So um, we're excited to welcome our second son, Jonathan, and Emmanuel is having a really fun time with his little brother. Graduated from Liberty University, although my heart is with the University of Miami, especially this weekend. It's a big game. If you're a UM fan, if you're a Notre Dame fan, I just want to apologize for absolutely nothing. No, my brother-in-law's a Notre Dame fan, so we were going back and forth on why the Hurricanes actually deserve it this time. But I have a seminary degree from Knox Seminary down here in South Florida. I'm on the board of the Fellowship of Christian Athletes at the University of Miami. That's a fun thing that we like to do. And then I'm the co-founder of Follow-Up CRM, co-founder alongside of Greg Wallach, who you probably have heard of and know. Greg founded Follow-Up CRM back in 2012 for his commercial roofing company based in Fort Lauderdale. That's a picture of his previous company because he sold it just last year. He's now he's retired and in the Keys, probably fishing or doing something. I don't know. There's not much to do in the Keys besides fish. He sold that company. That's his third company that he sold over his decades in the commercial roofing industry, construction industry. And he built Follow Up because of a need that he personally had. He looked at Salesforce, he looked at all these other kind of CRMs out there in the market, and he said, "I love the idea, but it's not specific to the construction workflows and integrations that the construction industry needs." So that's how we kind of got started. And I always like to kind of Greg's still heavily involved in Follow Up and guides our company. And even though he's retired, he's always a part of Follow Up. So to get into today's agenda, kind of like what Sarah said, we're going to do a recap of this year, what we've done, and then what's coming in 2026. Lots of exciting things. Anyone want to guess what we're building in 2026? Put it in the chat. Say what you think we're going to be building and rolling out. And if you hear the news or anything around tech, you're probably going to be right. Not a theme park, not a theme park, but something that like the whole industry is chasing after right now. And so we'll get into that. Okay, so what did we do in 2025? We're only going to go over the major enhancements that we did. We actually push new code to production at least twice a week, actually. So our pace of development is growing and increasing. So I'm just going to hit on the major things, and we did a whole bunch of minor things as well that I won't go over. But the first thing that we did that's pretty recent actually is custom security permissions and upgrades. So what this is basically in your permissions setting allows you to either use the default templates that we have had, but we've noticed as we grow and as we have a lot more unique use cases that everybody has kind of their own concept of how they want to secure and lock down their data at their company by role, by user, by individual. This allows you to really get to that granular level of what people can see and what they can't see, what they have permission to do or not to do. One really great example of this is especially with our ERP integrations, you can turn it on and off access to pushing data into your ERP or other kind of project management software. Um, if you have a larger sales team, most people don't want the sales team or the estimating team pushing everything over just willy-nilly. So what a lot of companies like to do is lock that down to one person who is responsible to get from for getting the data from follow up into their viewpoint or their sage or foundation products. So that's something that you're able to do. So you can use a template that we've created. You can start from scratch and make your own templates. Um, that's a really big feature that we've kind of rolled out recently. Kanban board. This one is one that was highly requested last year, so we built that this year. It's really visual and interactive. If you haven't played around with it yet, you can see how you get there. You click on projects, then you click on that radio dial at the top there of the grid, and it gives you a Kanban or Kanban, I still don't know, view of the projects. So it's very customizable. So you can see the data that you want to see, who's working on the project. If it's multiple people, you can kind of see a little glimpse of that on that highlighter green one right there of the different people at the bottom. But it gives you just like a forward motion of managing your projects rather than kind of a list view that some people like to see as well. Zapier enhancements. So if you don't know what Zapier is, you could think about Zapier as the way you could connect follow-up to thousands of major apps out there. One of the main examples would be connecting follow-up to your website or the forms onto your website. So let's say you're hosting your website on something like WordPress, which is probably the number one website hosting out there. You can connect follow-up to your website via Zapier. And what this allows you to do is create a new lead or opportunity right from the form submission into the projects area or wherever you map it to. So that's one use case of Zapier, but you can connect Zapier to pretty much anything that is a very popular application out there. Follow-up can integrate with it through Zapier. If you need help with that, just reach out to your customer success manager. We've done some implementation projects to kind of connect websites and kind of do that heavy lifting for you. If that's something you're interested in, you can definitely reach out to us there. This is a really big feature, shareable project documents. So in the document storage area of a project's page, we've now given kind of like think of it as a Google Drive or a Dropbox type feature where you can create a link and share that link either internally or externally so that people can upload or download documents. And the neat thing about this is, let's say, for example, you're bidding out a project to 3 different GCs. And you do a folder for GC number 1, and a folder for GC number 2, and a folder for GC number 3. You can create 3 links for those folders, and the links will only give them accessibility to what you allow them to. So you can see those check boxes there. All folders, just the photos, just the proposals, or kind of like what I just described of GC1, 2, or 3. So you can create those links, send that out, and then they have like a portal basically to upload and download their documents and files. It allows collaboration between you and your customers so that everything is stored in one place. ERP data sync. So this is a really big enhancement to how the data is flowing between ERPs. Before this, it was really based off of a push. So whether it's on a company's page, a contact page, or the project page, you would have to click on that button that says push to ERP, and then it would send the data over there. Now, what the sync setting does is really automate that if something has not gone to the ERP. So, for example, you can set up an automated project push depending on the sales status to happen every night. This is really helpful when you have a high volume of opportunities, or maybe somebody forgot to push something over, right? So at the end of the night, you can set up that sync, at 11 p.m. It will push all the one contracts over. You could set it on a time interval or a status interval, and you can do that per object, change orders, whatever it is. Really helpful just so you can set it and forget it and know that your data is transferring back and forth um, cleanly. And so you don't have to wonder, did it actually go over or not? Advanced search. So this is a big enhancement that was very helpful. We actually worked with a few customers on. This gives more granularity to your searching. And what this enhancement really is about the second half of the screen here, where you see groups and filters. What this allows you to do is say, I want to search for this and that. So, for example, I want to see all the projects that are in this status and are under Sarah's name, right? Or you can do an or status, an or configuration where I want to see status or Sarah's name. So it'll bring up more opportunities. So you can get really granular with what you're searching for, find what you need to find, and then create a list out of that. So super helpful to be able to bring the next level of filtering and sorting and searching to you. Custom dashboards and reports. So this is a really big enhancement. This is on the professional plan, and basically, where'd it go? Let's see here. Are we back? I think so. Let's exit it and see if that works. Okay, so that we'll just do it for this slide. So the custom dashboards really allows you to build anything that you would imagine. So no matter what standard reports that we have right out of the box, this really brings the data that we store to life in whatever configuration you want. I've seen people create like a map where they pin all their projects in their state or in the country so that they can show their customer, look, we have nationwide coverage. We've seen really granular reports of, what is the most sold project by this salesperson, cumulative, whatever kind of report, graph, or chart that you would want to make. We have the ability to make it with custom reporting. It gets pretty complex. So we have an offering, we have an internal data analyst that can help you kind of design and build reports for you. So if you have a concept or an idea or an example of something that you would like to build, but don't really know how to build it, we're happy to help you with that. And the cool thing about that is you can publish it as a dashboard right there onto your dashboard page. So pretty neat there. Let's go back to full screen here and see. Okay. Business card reader. If you don't know, we have an app. You can get the app on iOS or Android, and this allows you to take a picture of a business card right through that QR code link. You can only see that button on your phone. And then when you take a picture of that business card, it'll automatically enter in the contact information that it picks up, it detects it, boom, and it enters it in. Let's say you meet somebody and you meet three people from the same company, and you have one company, three people, three business cards. The first one will also create a new company associated with the individual. The second business cards that you take a picture of will associate those two contacts to the original company. So there's no duplicates, and we're protecting your data integrity that way. So that's something fun that a lot of people like. This was a huge enhancement that we just released probably a few weeks ago. We're calling it Activity Actions. And this really boosts productivity on the activities page. So rather than now going into every project to complete an activity, you can do it right from the activities tab. So you can complete, you know, multiple activities without leaving the page. So let's say you have a bunch of follow-ups that you have to do. You can send those emails right from the screen, and you can put a note in about the project right there by clicking all that. And then you can bring up the notes of that project, get an update, see all of that without leaving the page. So that's a really big update. People like that a lot. You send an email, reschedule a follow-up, complete a whole bunch of follow-ups in the page. So bringing a lot of functionality to that area. All right, so that's what we did in 2025, along with many other things that you guys know. But what's coming in 2026?
And I would love for people to put in the chat, what was your favorite update? What have you been using? That feedback is really helpful. That's how we got here, right?
Yeah,
Taking
yeah,
people's
that'd be great.
feedback, making those
Yeah.
improvements.
And also what you'd like us to build. Like, this is how we build the product. That's how we build it last year based off of feedback from this year, right? So we don't build anything unless customers ask for it. So if you're not asking, then we can't build. So that's how we do that. We take all of the feedback that we gather over our conversations with you one-on-one, our QBRs, webinars like this, and we put it into one place, and then we analyze it to create the product roadmap. And so that's how we got 2026. And so these are the major enhancements, but of course, we're going to have dozens of minor enhancements along the way. So first thing is marketing automation. This is coming early 2026 in January. So hold me to it. That's our commitment to you guys, that we're releasing marketing automation. So think about it this way. If you're using Constant Contact or MailChimp right now to send those automated email newsletter blasts, that's going to live right in Follow-Up. Okay. So you're going to be able to put together your email newsletter and send it to all the contacts that you have in Follow-Up, and send it to the right people, and make sure you're top of mind for people. So we'll have a marketing page. You can start a new campaign, email campaign template builder. So it's, beautiful, and metrics so that you can say, hey, this person opened it and they received it. Did they click on anything? Things like that. So that's a big enhancement. Advanced permission. So this is something that we're just tying up right now. This allows us to segment your users by teams. So enhancing, again, even from this year, the security and permissions. So let's say you have, a large organization and you want to silo everyone by office, or most people by the office or team. You can organize, let's say you have 2 locations, 3 locations, 10 people per location. And you say, there's no real reason for us for location 1 to see location 2's data, and no reason for anybody to see locations 3's data. So all those 10 users, you can apply, Office 1, Office 2, Office 3, and then they would be siloed into their area. Now, maybe you say, okay, that's great, but I want the general managers at each location to see across teams. You can customize that so that you can go in and out of the different permissions and the visibility across the team. So that's a huge upgrade that we're just finishing up and rolling out. Scott likes the business card here. That's always like a big hit. I call that chocolate broccoli. If you've never heard of chocolate broccoli, it's a way. Another way to think about it is when you give medicine to your dog, but you have to wrap it in cheese. That's like chocolate broccoli. You need to eat your broccoli, but we really want the chocolate. So just cover your chocolate your broccoli and chocolate, and it goes down smoother. That's what the business card reader is. All right, dashboard templates. So I just talked about how we have all these customizable reports, all these customizable charts and graphs, and all of these things. If you can imagine it, you can create it, which creates another problem for us. I don't know what I don't know, right? And so what we're doing is we're gathering out of the box reports and out of the box templates from our top users, and we are making them more generic to go across the different construction verticals so that you have dozens of reports and dozens of dashboards out of the box that you can just kind of play around with and see what best practices are from other top follow-up users, and drill in deeper and get insights that maybe you haven't even thought of. So we're gonna release that, and so you're gonna have lots of insights that you're going to be able to pull. So rather than you having to do the work of figuring out what kinds of reports you'll need, we're going to come to the table with a bunch that's out of the box. All right, AI, introducing Greg AI. So we're excited about this. So a little homage to our founder, Greg. We're immortalizing him as AI. We got his permission. He felt very honored to do this, to be the I don't know, the what do they call it? The Is there a
Avatar,
certain the avatar? That's what I was looking
the face
for
of the
our
cartoon.
the cartoon face AI. You can see he's repping the University of Miami colors and his orange hair. I like the orange hair because that's his staple. So think about Greg AI as your kind of follow-up co-pilot, right? He's going to work alongside of your users, so that he's going to help you write better emails, respond faster to your customers, update the projects better, and make sure nothing's falling through the cracks. So Greg AI is a concept, and then you could think of the different things that Greg AI is going to be doing as we roll out different types of Greg AI, if that makes sense. So think of Greg as AI as an admin who never forgets to follow up or make sure every lead gets a response, or that Greg AI is watching over your opportunities to make sure that you don't miss a beat, right? So one thing that's coming with Greg AI is it's going to notify you if they see an opportunity that hasn't been touched in like 30, 60, or 90 days, but it's a high probability project for your company, and it'll send you a notification. And so it will be able to respond to you and say, hey, check out this project. You haven't touched it, or you haven't updated or sent an email about it. Might be a good idea to check in on that, right? So,
This is really interesting because we talk a lot on the front end when people are deciding if Follow-Up CRM is a good fit about the admin time saved and like
mhm.
reducing the double entry and the human error points, things like that. But now you're kind of saying they're getting another employee added to their team in the inclusion of their subscription.
Yeah. So, it's funny. What we've seen is that for every salesperson, estimator, or person out there in the field, there's usually an in-office support person that is really cleaning up a lot of what they're doing out there in the field, right? And so that's what Greg AI is really going to empower. And what it does, they really take somebody that is good and makes them great because the details are not falling through the cracks. And that's what Greg AI is all about. And yeah, we're super excited to kind of go through some of these features that Greg AI is going to be able to kind of help us with. So to go into that, we'll call it the Greg AI Sales Assistant. So here's a preview screenshot of what that looks like. So if you're sending an email right from follow-up, you'll be able to say, okay, what type of email follow-up is this? The tone of that email, you click generate. What it does, it takes your company information, It also understands your prospects information and then also the information on the project itself. And it puts together an email that's relevant to the stage, to the next step, to all the information that has been ingested into either like a follow-up email or some other type of content so that you can deliver that quickly to your person without even thinking. Or you can make a custom prompt. Maybe the situation is different and you say, hey, write me an email. Maybe there was like an emergency situation like a flood or a hurricane or a snowstorm. Write me an email notifying customers that we are open even though the snowstorm just hit or something like that, and it'll write an email for you. So it'll help um, your sales team move faster in a human kind of way. So that's a sales assistant coming, and that's going to live in a couple of different areas. So it's going to live on the activities page, your contacts page, your projects page. Wherever you're sending an email, you'll see Greg AI in there. Greg AI Data Analyst. Christy, yes, we'll definitely create some Greg AI training videos, and we'll
Yes.
we'll do a lot of walkthroughs, and we'll probably do some kind of webinars next year as we start to roll these out on how to best utilize that for sure.
Yes,
Um,
and anything that we're talking about today, the conference that we're having in February is not just us like talking from stage, wearing you out. There's a lot of intentional time built in so that you can have an in real life help desk, literally walk to the customer success team, ask them your question, open up your device. They can click around with you. So know that that is an option. We always have like extra support hours they can do with you. But if you want to come really efficiently to the conference and work through that, we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, there's nothing like in person. We live our digital lives, but then when you're in person, it's really a game changer. That was actually my favorite part of the conference. Last time we did it was, the second half of the second day, we had just open office hours and everybody had their computers open and our team huddled around customers and said, okay, what do you need help with? What can we do? How can we plan? What's your goals for this coming year? And then really helped, push adoption forward. Greg AI Data Analyst. This one's pretty cool. So with our custom reporting, you can see an example of a chart right there, and it's the Smart Analyzer. What this allows you to do is interact with the graph and chart, right? So you can click on that and then chat with that and say, what is comprising of this data? Or tell me something interesting about the data underneath this graph. Or like this one is like a profitability by country report. Why was Italy so low? And then it'll pull the underlying data and say, Italy had, this and this project, which came in below budget. So watch out for that, right? Stuff like that to really give you the detailed insights of what's going on underneath the graphs and charts that inform these kind of things. So huge. Scott, I don't know if there's going to be online options. That's something that we can discuss. Maybe we'll record it. I don't know, but we want you there. So
Yeah.
if there's something that you can do to make it down, or you need some accommodations, let us know. We'd love to have you here if you can make it.
Yeah, so we will not be live streaming it, but definitely we're going to have so much good content. We'll be thinking about help center or blog articles that can come afterwards. And then even what we see some teams doing is sending like one representative to gather all the information and work through it and take it back to their home office and distribute to the team. So that's another good option.
Yeah, it's great. Greg AI Project Insights. This one's pretty cool. So we're going to have almost like a speed dial on every project that looks at your historical data in follow-up and gauges your likelihood of winning the project, and then also action steps that you can do to hopefully increase the likelihood of you winning the project, right? And so what this is going to allow you to do is say, hey, you have a new opportunity that just came in the door. Based off of your historical data, this looks like a lot of projects that you win. So let's stay on top of it, right? Or this project comes in and it's not really what you like. Historically you've won a couple of these, but it's not your bread and butter. So if you have to choose between spending hours estimating this one or that one, you're definitely going to choose this one because you have a higher likelihood of winning that project, right? So we're considering all these signals and factors like the frequency of your interaction to the customer based off your emails, your follow-up activity, the size and the scope of the project. All the details that live on the project page are informing this number. So it's pretty cool. Greg, AI marketing. So with marketing automation, um, marketing automation point 2.0, it's going to be probably Q2 or 3. We're going to help you write these emails. So AI is going to just write that newsletter for you and say, let's say, for example, you're in the HVAC business and you want to send out a springtime email. You're going to be able to insert your website. Well, we already have your domain. So it's going to scan your website, inform the AI based off of the services that you're offering. You're going to have a one sentence prompt that you're going to say, write an email about the springtime weather and why you need to schedule a check-in with us. It's going to write that email newsletter for you, take the heavy lifting off your plate. Then you could customize it with pictures and all these things to really sound human. And honestly, the AI is really good at text-based things like marketing content. So it'll be able to really have a clear message for your company and stay on brand for you. So that's what we're doing in 2026. Super excited. It's all about AI, all about increasing productivity and efficiency. If there's anything that we didn't cover that you'd like to see, please tell your CSM. Please vote on it. Please tell us, because that's how we build the product. And we're built by construction companies for construction companies. Now, there's so many other things that we have planned that I didn't discuss around ERPs, around even other AI items and new services that we're going to be offering. So that's not everything, but it's the major things that we're going to be going over. All right. So that's all I have for you today. Any questions? Please post them in the chat. But if not, hope to see you guys at the conference.
Yes, and I will go ahead and point you guys to some more resources. So when you log into Followup CRM, that help button in the bottom right-hand corner, that has knowledge-based articles. It has where you can submit tickets, where you can make recommendations. We love that. Also, something that I don't think we say enough, but it's been happening organically, so I'm going to bring it top of mind for everyone is if you have somebody else in the industry that you know who could benefit from Follow-Up CRM, feel free to loop us in on an email. Be like, hey, Eric, you should meet so and so. We're not going to hard sell them. We're just going to ask them what kind of problems they're trying to solve. And we can come from like a very, how can we serve you perspective. And that's often where we get some of our best customers. And we see a lot of alignment there because you have the insight of how it's helped your business, and then we can start expanding to help more people across the country.
Awesome.
So
Well, it
we
was
love
good to
those
see some of
referrals.
you guys. Thank you, everybody, for joining.
Yes, we will send out this recording tomorrow. You'll get an email from Zoom. So if you weren't able to join us, you can watch it later or you can forward to anyone else you know. Thanks so
All
much.
righty. Bye.